Hello YouTubies, this is Joker Scribe and thanks for watching one of my awesome YouTube videos. I'm part of the King Scribe network, of course, and today we're going to talk about psychopaths, these crazy people or charming nutcases. In fact, they're all fruitcakes as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't care what modern science says or modern maths, statistics, you name it, about how many psychopaths there are in the world. Chances are, if you go out every day, you're bumping into them every single day. Why is that? Well, they say it is 1%. Let's just say that the national statistics for dumbasses is actually right, and it is 1% of the population. That means that there are 70 million people worldwide who are psychopaths. Just let that sink in for a while, okay? 70 million people. By the global statistics of how many people there are in the world, of course, they go round it off to 7 billion now. Maybe they've got some festive interest to actually make it sound higher than it actually is. But for argument's sake, 70 million people out there in the world are nutcases, fruitcakes, psychopaths. Yeah. And a lot of people might consider them to be the charming, manipulative, and occasionally bogey-eyed serial killers, absolute nutcases. And a lot of them are stupid. A lot of them are these nutcases. And, you know, it's almost like their pathology makes them nutters. They've got this ego complex. This is the worst thing about them. The ego complex is actually worse than the lack of empathy. It's what really does the damage. And you see them and they seem to think that there's something special about them. And it makes them very difficult to talk to. They believe there's something hugely special about them. And they might believe that they're sort of a dark angel or a god of some type or a king. Yeah, or a king. Or just, king of the world. Now, I know I say things on YouTube, where I'm pretending to be, well, I don't pretend, I am a king of YouTube, okay? But that's different. That's character building. These people actually believe it. They actually go through life believing that they are something special, that they're brought down from God and that they are the son of God or something. They believe they're special. It's almost like a delusional state with them. In fact, it's getting close to what I would call um, psychosis with a lot of them. I mean, if you look at it, they believe there's something special about them. There's nothing special about them, but they actually believe it no matter what they're told. They believe that they're a dark angel or something, and that is, to me, a sort of psychosis, together with the ego complex and psychopathy, and that's just a dangerous mix. And you bump into them all the time. No matter what people say to you, you're bumping into these nutcases every single day. You go out, you're bound to bump into a couple of them. Think about it, 1%. So you walk past a couple of buses, and each bus can hold over 50 people if it's full. Well, there's over 100 people, so you bumped into at least one. You haven't bumped into him, but you've noticed one in the streets. You see them every single day. I don't care what people say. And you could have a big road. Let's say you have roads and, 50 houses. Well, guaranteed there's going to be one there as well. If it's a 1 in every 100, although there will be some variance, it's averages around about 1%, I suppose. But some people say it's up to 4% of the population who are sort of psychopathic. I think the population is getting more psychopathic as time goes on, because another problem seems to be that people seem to think it's cool as well. You ask any young person about psychopathic tendencies, oh, it's cool. They almost believe it's the new sort of style for humanity. And that's a shame. And a lot of these people believe that are also stupid. I'm not being rude, but they are. They have this sort of very, very low intelligence emotionally. Sometimes in an IQ, sometimes they are just bad at everything. But they believe that psychopathy is great. So they have this antisocial personality complex. And I see that quite a lot. And these people just bumming about, sweet shops. Have you ever noticed that a lot of them hang around sweet shops at night? What the bloody hell are you doing behind us? Sorry. I don't understand how somebody can think they're cool and they're adult hanging around a bloody sweet shop. Anybody come up here and tell me how you can actually be cool if you're hanging around a sweet shop at 10 o'clock at night? I don't understand it. It seems to not register up here how that can actually be cool at all. But they still think they're cool. And a lot of them, of course, they won't be psychopaths, but they believe in this sort of tendencies as being a fashion almost. But the real psychopaths tend to be much more, they do things behind the scenes, a lot of them. You've got people like George Osborne, for instance, and they rise to the top and they then try to destroy everyone down below. And they do it with a smirk on their face. You've also got somebody like Tony Blair, who rose to the top, and people only just realizing right now that he is actually a psychopath. Now, Cameron seems to be a weird one, because I'm not sure if he is one, actually. I think he's... people have actually asked on Facebook whether he is one, and I have my doubts, although I'm not saying he isn't. I have my doubts whether he is. There's some background of his life that says that he might just be lashing out at everyone, which is really bad, and he shouldn't be in politics if he's doing that. He should actually be throwing out with a vote of no confidence, because he is bad. He is a toxic person. I don't care what people say, whether they're psychopaths or not. Some people are just toxic to be around. End of. Now, I went out to a supermarket earlier today. Well, I also went out to close to where the BBC is, by the way. I got a few pictures of the TARDIS, etc. So going into a different subject, but there were hundreds of people there. I think well over 1,000. And there were certain people I noticed in the crowd who I thought, yeah, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. And people say you shouldn't do that. But what's interesting, the people I pointed out in my mind as being one, when I came back to an area, they were surrounded by police. Now, what does that say about instinct? 2 of them were surrounded by police because they'd been up to something. What does it say about human instinct? It says that people can actually register whether somebody is antisocial, whether there is something wrong with them, whether they have psychopathic tendencies. You can almost guarantee that you can sense it. Another interesting thing is, when I was walking outside, well, it was actually inside the mall. I was pushing Charlie around with Phoebe, etc. And I walked past this lady, and she had like a 6-month-old baby on the floor in the shopping mall. And I thought, that's really disgusting, because not only is that floor dirty, but she's showing no empathy for the kid at all. She just wants them to get up and walk to the mother, just to feed her own complex. And I noticed, I was watching her very carefully, and I noticed she looked at Charlie and gave him such a weird look that I was just looking directly at her. And she noticed later I was looking directly at her. And it's just like a witchy look. That's another reason why I made the video, because I could almost sense that there was something wrong with that woman. So you can get a feeling how people actually are just by looking at them. And people might actually say, well, no, you can't. Well, listen to this. There's been studies of personality and how it affects the face. You know, when you've got a really nasty personality, and people say you can't judge a book by its cover, well, you can sort of, because if you're holding your face in a stern look all the time, it starts to tell in the face. If you tend to be somebody who smiles a lot, it starts to tell in the face, you know, lines at the side of the eyes, nice big muscles on the side of the face, you know, near the cheeks, dimples in the side of the mouth. And if somebody is like antisocial, they have the same sort of face as well. And the reason is because they tend to be holding their face in a specific way, that the muscles, where they relax and where they tense, start to develop in different ways. And that's why they all tend to have similar faces. That's why you can almost tell from their face whether somebody is kind, nasty, deceiving, manipulative. No matter what they say, it does end up telling in the face. Thought I mentioned that. Muscle tension. Yeah? So you can actually get something from that. But I've rambled on quite a lot and not really got anywhere in this video. But it was just a video basically about psychopaths. And that they are all around you. they're not all bogey-eyed serial killers, although some of them are, and the ones who are actually just nutcases anyway. They have this delusional sense of self, and that's the biggest giveaway. The biggest giveaway is the ego complex. And once you notice it, get away from them as fast as possible. Never show any weaknesses around them either. They say they can read people. I don't think they can really. Another thing, if you ever go to a supermarket or wherever, have a scan of the people around you. And the people you feel are not very nice people, you can see them scanning other people as if they're looking for victims, as if they're studying other people. Now, I might be saying I'm studying them as well, but I'm just looking at it from a sort of personal viewpoint, because you've got to protect your kid or whatever, and I need to have a look at everybody around me. So when I'm doing that, I do notice some of these people's eyes darting at vulnerable people all the time. So you do have that instinctive feeling of who is up to no good. It's actually kind of amazing. That's part of the fact that us people, us normal people, are really good at reading people's emotions. And if somebody doesn't have any, or is a nasty person, we can read that as well. Beautiful, really. Anyway, thank you for watching. I might make a few more videos about this and possibly think more about what to say, because I've just rambled on, really. I've just gone on about nothing, but at least I got a point of view out. Don't forget, they also like to spread smear campaigns as well, so be careful of that. So if you're ever sitting in a pub, did I mention this in this video? If you're ever sitting in a pub and you're talking to a friend, and then they're talking about one of your friends and saying, oh, he's all right, but he's been in jail before, don't trust him, he's been in fights and he's ripped off this old lady, etc. That's the sort of thing they do. And then when you meet that person, you might feel differently towards them. So be very careful of that reaction that you get from them. It might not really show a psychopath in general, but somebody like that is a shit stirrer. So there you go. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, peasants. Sorry, I'll see you later. Goodbye for now.